Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going on a deep dive.
A deep dive.
Yeah, a deep dive into a world where, is where cutting-edge science and real-life hope kind of meet phase 1 clinical trials.
Yeah.
And you've brought some really interesting research on this.
I have.
I'm excited to unpack it all.
Awesome.
So to start us off,
Yeah.
when we talk about these phase 1 trials,
Okay.
they're really the first time that a new drug is tested in people, right?
Correct.
But it seems like there's a lot more to it
Yeah.
than just seeing if it makes people sick.
Yeah. So it's definitely
You know what I mean?
more than just did it make anyone sick.
Yeah.
The foundation is always going to be safety.
Right.
That's always the priority with everything we do.
Right.
But think of it almost like a detective's first day on a really complex case.
Okay.
You're not going to solve it that day.
Right.
You're just gathering the clues.
Okay, so what kind of clue specifically?
Yeah.
So, good question.
I see maximum tolerated dose a lot.
Right.
Is that kind of like figuring out like the strongest medicine you can give before it like backfires or something?
Yes, exactly. So we start with very small doses.
Okay.
And these are based off of what we saw was safe in animal studies.
Okay.
And then we slowly increase the dose.
Okay.
Very carefully watching for side effects.
Got it.
At each new level.
Makes sense, because if you go too fast,
Yeah.
you could miss something crucial.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the research mentioned dose escalation methods.
Yeah.
Are these different ways of kind of climbing that mountain?
You could say that, yes. Some are very cautious.
Okay.
Some are faster if early data looks good.
Okay.
But it's all about balancing speed with the need for safety.
Safety first.
Always.
Always. Absolutely. So who are the people that are
Yeah.
actually taking these first steps?
Great question.
I'm seeing healthy volunteers mentioned.
But also patients who've already tried everything else,
Right.
especially in like cancer trials and things like that.
That is a key point. So if it's a drug for, say, high blood pressure, you might start with healthy folks.
Okay.
Just to see how it behaves in the body.
Okay.
But with cancer, it's often people facing very serious situations
Yeah.
and hoping for anything that might help.
Right. And that must bring
Yeah.
a whole other layer of considerations
Right.
into how these trials are run.
Absolutely. Everyone involved needs to understand that this stage is about gathering data.
Okay.
It's not about promising cures.
Got it.
We're looking for those clues, but in a more delicate and hopeful context.
Right. Okay. So we've got safety as kind of the base camp here.
The foundation.
Right. But this research also hints that modern phase 1 trials are kind of going beyond that.
They are.
There's this idea of adaptive designs and biomarkers.
Right.
What are those all about?
Okay. So think of adaptive design as like a GPS for the trial itself.
Okay.
So let's say the first few patients at a certain dose have 0 side effects,
Okay.
but also no response to the treatment.
Got it.
An adaptive design might let us skip ahead to a higher dose sooner.
Interesting.
Rather than sticking to the original plan.
So it's like reacting to the map in real time.
Yeah.
And biomarkers.
Yes.
Are those like the special clues?
Perfect analogy.
Okay.
So imagine a lung cancer trial.
Okay.
Where we know the drug only works if the tumor has a specific protein.
Got it.
So instead of giving it to everyone, we can test for that biomarker first.
Okay.
Which means we're focusing the trial on the people most likely to benefit.
Okay.
And learning faster if the drug is on the right track.
So it's like personalizing things.
Exactly.
Even at this early stage.
More personalized medicine, yeah.
That's really interesting. Now, what about expansion cohorts?
Yes.
That seems to come in later.
Right. So once we've found that maximum safe dose, and maybe gotten some hints that the drug is working, expansion cohorts let us bring in more participants.
Okay.
It's like going from a small pilot study to a bigger one.
Okay.
Still within phase 1 to gather more data before moving on to larger trials.
So it seems like this phase 1 is becoming a much more dynamic and informative stage than it used to be.
Yeah, definitely.
But before we go any further, I think it's crucial to talk about what all this means for the people participating.
I completely agree. Informed consent is paramount.
Okay.
It's not just signing a form.
Right.
It's an ongoing, open discussion about the risks and potential benefits.
So managing expectations is key.
Absolutely.
Especially when someone might be feeling desperate for a solution.
For sure.
And as these trials become more sophisticated,
right,
like using targeted therapies, immunotherapies, even incorporating randomization sometimes,
it
gets even more complex. to explain it all to participants.
It does.
Now, wait a minute. Randomization in phase 1.
Yeah.
That's usually for later stage trials.
That's true, but it is becoming more common, especially with targeted therapies.
Okay.
So imagine a new drug designed to block a specific cancer growth signal.
Okay.
In a randomized phase 1, some people get that drug.
Okay.
Others get the current standard treatment.
Got it.
And this lets us compare them head to head,
Well,
even at this early stage.
So even within phase 1,
right,
we're getting more rigorous data to guide the next steps.
Absolutely, yeah.
What stands out to you as the most impactful change in this field?
For me, it's the rise of targeted therapies and immunotherapies.
Oh.
They're not just changing treatment. They're changing how we do trials.
Okay.
Because they're so focused, we might see signs of effectiveness.
Okay.
Much earlier.
Got it.
Than with traditional chemo, for example.
Okay.
It's incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
It demands even greater care in explaining everything to participants.
Right. So it sounds like phase 1 is becoming less about just safety.
Right.
And more about laying the groundwork
Yeah.
for truly personalized medicine.
It is, yeah.
In the future.
That's a great way to put it. These trials are where breakthroughs begin.
Yeah.
And the people who participate are essential to that process.
Well, this has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
And for you listening out there, I'm curious. If you were approached to join a phase 1 trial, what would be
good question.
Your top questions or concerns?
Yeah.
It's a decision that deserves careful thought.
For sure.
Given all we've just learned.
Absolutely.
So until next time, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.